Jagersfontein Developments is facing criminal and civil action after a mine dam burst in the Free State town a year ago. 3 people died and scores of homes were damaged as a mudslide from the tailings dam gushed into their homes and into their lives. Attorney Nilesthra Padayachee with Richard Spoor Inc. joins us now to talk about spearheading a class action suit against the company to hold it accountable. Nilesthra, good evening to you and welcome. Remind our viewers just how impactful the events of that day have been to the families and the communities there.
Hi, good evening. So on the 11th of September last year, at around 6 o'clock in the morning, the tailings dam burst at the Jagersfontein Developments tailing mine, and the sludge from the mine inundated the community of Intermalang and Charlesville. There were over 280 people that were affected, over 100 homes that were destroyed, and people have now been left homeless. There were 3 people that were swept away, and 2 of them known to be deceased. Their remains have been found, and they have lost their lives. There's one person who is still remains unfound. Her husband, Mr. McCarty, is one of our clients, and he, he's still very hopeful that his wife will be found, and he cannot rest and does not have any peace because he has not been able to bury her or see her remains as yet. And the impact of the dam burst has been absolutely devastating to the community. People have been placed in temporary accommodation that is very, very difficult for them to live in. Yeah. And the sludge itself is still all over the community. My team and I were there today. We got back from there this afternoon covered in dust. The sludge has been gathered together in the middle of the community, and it's really, really horrible what people are living through and having to experience on a daily basis. Hearing eyewitness accounts from our clients of being literally trapped in their cars, swept away, having to hold on to trees just to make sure that they were not carried further downstream. We met clients who were swept for more than 12 kilometers in the sludge. And to date, we haven't received proper toxicology reports. We don't know what's contained in the sludge, how dangerous it is. And it's now, obviously hardened. In some areas, it's turned to a cement-like substance. And today and this week has been quite hot and windy. The dust is getting blown up, and it's really devastating.
As you relate that, we're sharing some picture with our viewers as a reminder of just what you're describing, and certainly trauma and tragedy in its wake. As you have had this year of being able to look back and really evaluate the damage that's been caused, what liability do you believe the company bears in this matter?
We believe that Jagersfontein Developments bears a great deal of liability towards the community, towards the environment, and has the responsibility to make right all the wrongs that have been suffered as a result of this dam burst. It must... Hello?
We still have you, Nilesthra. You're still talking to the nation. Go ahead.
Sorry, I seem to lost connection for a second. But yes, the Jagersfontein Development is liable. This dam burst was not an act of God. It wasn't something that happened, because there was bad weather. It was due to the negligence of the mine not being properly maintained, being overfilled, and not being well taken care of, that caused the dam to fail and this huge amount of sludge to be swept across the community. And it's a year later, people are still living in the most deplorable of conditions, and we believe that they bear a full responsibility, together with perhaps the municipality, who also had leased this land to mine. So yes.
So this was an avoidable tragedy, is what you're putting on the table. So how soon do you plan on triggering this class action suit? And is there time for other families to join?
Yes, there is always time for families to join. So the wonderful thing about a class action is that there will be a group of people who represent a class. And once the class action is certified, everybody affected, will be part of that class, and people will have an opportunity to opt out. We met in Jagersfontein on Sunday afternoon. Richard himself was in Jagersfontein speaking to members of the community, as well as another partnering law firm, potential partners, and they. We are trying to work together and possibly launch this class action within the next 6 to 8 weeks. And
so that's pretty soon. Quickly tell me what you're seeking. You talked about justice. You talked about recognition. Is there a number to that?
There is a number. We haven't quantified that number as yet, but we want, our main priority is to see that the community who have suffered substantial loss, who are people who are disadvantaged as it is, and who are easily taken advantage of by the man who've asked them to sign settlement agreements that we find to be extremely oppressive. We've written to them and said that they should be engaging with people through their attorneys to make sure that their rights are protected. Unfortunately, that hasn't been done, but we will be seeking full compensation for all damages that have been suffered by people, both in terms of damage to their fixed and movable property, their personal injury, people who have suffered loss of support claims for the loved ones who have passed away, and then as well as environmental damages for the devastation that has been done to the environment. And there's also long-term effects to be considered. We don't know what the substance contains. There's already been found traces of nickel, chrome, lead, and we are actually trying to get experts as well to look into the substances. We've done a number of tests already. Our preliminary findings show that there is levels of toxins in the soil samples that we've taken. So we don't know the long-term health effects on the community from the sludge.